naturally, okay, no pressure, but naturally as a fighter, you will always have that instinct that you want to hurt your opponent. But what was good is that from everything that like my coach has taught me, like even with Takam, I see he was hurt a few times in that fight, but I didn't want to go steaming in. I didn't want to look for the knockout. I wanted it to come naturally, and we were slowly getting there. So I don't feel the pressure anymore because I know sometimes that could lead to my downfall if I'm not careful. Thank you.
How does the nose now affect you?
Huh?
Because obviously your pops out the mouth a bit, I presume, because of the nose rather than...
The thing is with the old headbutt, you don't see it coming, and it's harder than a punch because it's just like bone on bone, you know, that crunch. But Rob, Tony, Max, Seltz, they all done a good job in the corner, you know, controlled the bleeding. But it was just getting through that round because the ref don't give you a cut, you know what I mean? You really want 10 minutes to kind of get yourself together, have a little breather and clean yourself up. But he's like carrying on fighting, and it's experience. It happens in a fight. So I got through the round. They cleaned me up, and it was just managing it through the rounds, not taking silly shots because it was ready to start gushing with blood. But they managed it well in the corner. A little bit. But listen. In a fight, you'll always find a way to breathe. You've got your mouth or your nose. So I just was breathing through my mouth a bit.
Essentially, you've got the victory clearly, but you're very critical very often of your own performances.
Yeah.
How do you mark yourself tonight in that performance?
There's always a few things I could do better. Do you know where I'm coming from? And but that's experience as well, which makes things easier. But I think with someone like Carlos, I said from the start, like, short fighters are always tougher, I think. You know, they got no neck, they can tuck up, and they've been dealing with guys my height their whole life. So they know how to roll shots and get out of the way of punches. And I'm used to dealing with guys my height, which I was dealing with training for Pulev. So it's just a bit more tricky, you know, but we got there in the end. Certain things I would have been doing 5 fights ago that would have, you know, could have been quite dangerous. I wasn't making those mistakes this fight around, so it's good. I'm improving fight by fight. And I'm just, honestly, I'm happy that, not to rate the performance, I'm happy that the win secured and we're moving on.
Anthony, did you think the ref was right to stop the fight? And also was it a bit of a funny ending, sort of a few jeers in the crowd? And
What did you think? What did you think from? Because I don't care if I spark him out if it goes 12 rounds if the ref ends it. So it's always down to the people who are watching's opinion. So what did you think about the stoppage? That's what I think. I think that's where Eddie said that the pressure comes because people want to see my foot, like the fighters I fight unconscious every time. And but I was delivering. I put him down. I hurt him now and again. I slashed both of his eyes. It was bleeding. If you see my shorts and boots, they were pure white, and now they're pink, filled with blood. But I do understand people want to see him unconscious, and I was trying. And the ref's job is to let the fighter live on another day. Do you know where I'm coming from? It's just interesting because Takam was showing certain signs where he was showing the ref that his eyes are like nearly hanging off. Do you know what I mean? From the cut, they were deep. And when the ref stopped it, he showed he wanted to continue fighting. But that's a fighter's instinct. And as I said, for me, 12 rounds is fine. A stoppage is fine. And then, as I said to Gareth, I'm happy I got the win and I can kind of crack on.
You spoke about wanting to move on from the Klitschko fight. Do you think that performance
Oh, there
does
you go.
that?
Sorry?
You spoke about wanting to move on from the Klitschko fight. Do you think that does that?
Yeah. And it was a completely different fight to the Klitschko fight. So, as I said, it's like I can't live off of that Klitschko fight and sit back in my armchair and think, what a great fight with Klitschko, because guys like Takam are completely different styles. So I just had to put Klitschko's victory aside and just focus on Pulev and then Takam and all the other issues that come with boxing. And if I don't put it behind me, it could be a curse, do you know what I mean? So I've just moved on, and that's why, like, Takam's done now, you know, and now I'm focusing on what's next.
How difficult was it to make the change of opponent to deal with it?
I think, like, Pulev, no disrespect, but, you know, from like a competitive nature, me talking, I think I would have been able to have been a little bit more effective you know, see when I don't know what round Takam went down in.
4.
4, but maybe Pulev wouldn't have made it through the 4th. Takam was, as I said, shorter. He knows how to ride that right hand, and yeah, that's what made it a bit interesting with the change of opponent. I just knew that he deals with guys like me every day in the gym because he's naturally the shorter style, and I don't deal with guys like Takam every day in the gym. So it was just going to be a little bit more difficult. But as I said, with him, certain mistakes that I could have been making 5 fights ago, I'm not going to make anymore against someone like Takam because all they want to do is land one shot.
You seem to be headhunting a little bit, just aiming your jab for his head, and obviously he was great at the movement. That you didn't seem to be getting your rhythm because of that.
Yeah. So with him, I think 3 things. When I hurt him, don't rush in because, as you said, he knows how to move his head. Bust him up with that jab. You saw his eyes, you know. Then I started thinking, okay, started hurting him to the head. Then I started throwing the jab to the body a bit more, that right hand to the body, sinking it in. But also, why I don't want to rush is because he's what's he had, 30-something fights? Something like that. So quite experienced, and he knows he knows his durability, so he knows he's going to stay in the ring for 10 rounds, 11 rounds, however long he could last, and just try and land that one sweet haymaker. And you'll know, in the heavyweight division, that can change a fight, and then belts go back to France, and we got to start again.
Anthony, you talked about sparring people like Benga, who have a similar build to
Yeah.
Carlos. Did you draw on that kind of experience of those people around you in that short period where obviously you had to change your opponent?
100%, yeah, 100%. Because that's what I mean. I have to go way back to like 2014 to think of guys I've sparred like Takam. That's something. It's not an everyday thing. I'm sparring big guys, every other week. Because there's not so many shorter heavyweights, you know. So yeah, I had to draw back to that time I was sparring Benga, and other times Rob done really well, got in other sparring partners, which were good. And other than that, I just knew he was going to be a bit more difficult than someone I knew I could outbox and, you know, slip certain shots and stuff. He was doing the slipping and making it difficult for me to land shots.
Do you enjoy that challenge, that tactical, where you have to do something different?
Where do you sit in the arena? Do you sit in the press box area? Do you see me talking to him? Yeah, that's the competitive nature. Telling him, come on, like, I love it, I enjoy it.
It seems to take you a while to do that sometimes, though. The first 4 rounds you sort of work him out, and then you seem to relax a bit and start.
That's it, game of chess. You watch their next move, what they're about. You feel a little shot. Oh, that jab's a little bit sneaky. You don't get caught with that again. And then you just kind of get into your rhythm. Then Rob said, I think in round 8, whoa, don't get carried away, you know, because he's waiting for that one shot, and it can change a fight. So he brought me back down to reality, and just focus. And I do enjoy it. It's just the competitive nature in me. He hit me with a jab, I'm going to hit you with a jab. And then you just wink at them and let them know that I'm one step ahead.
Did you feel the additional weight at all?
No. Thank God.
Did
No.
you think the headbutt was intentional?
No. He's a short guy. He went under, rolled a shot, come up, and I'm going to speak from a positive point of view. He come to fight, he tried to roll the shot, come up, boom, headbutt. We cracked on. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to cry about it. We move on.
What was that ring walk like?
What was it like?
Yeah, we wanted to let the fans sing the ring walk song.
Yeah.
Thought it'd be a nice change.
Yeah,
So-
I called Eddie 30 seconds before. I said, whoa,
yeah.
don't play him. Nah, but listen, it was good. It was different. It was good. But no stress. We still got 10 rounds in, blood, you know, a little bit, like, some good action, and we got the win. So music, no music, the job was still complete.
Overall, Anthony,
Yep.
the Cardiff experience, Eddie's kind of hinted that it could become your winter home.
Okay.
So many
Yeah,
people
yeah.
want to see you fight. They couldn't, do an O2 arena or an indoor
Okay.
arena because it's not big enough. How has your Cardiff experience been? Is it somewhere that you've really enjoyed?
Yeah, because we fought here before against Darch. Okay, that was a while ago. And as I said, like, it's good because I said, like, you've got people flying in from different countries, different areas, and like boxing's uniting people. So the more people, the better. More people want to watch it. We have to come back to Cardiff. But let's not forget, without winning, people won't want to watch. So that's what I said to you. The most important thing about tonight was making sure we won. You know, we didn't make mistakes. When I started getting a bit too cocky and confident in the ring, the corner do their job to kind of tell me to focus, because at the end of the day, whether there's 5 people or 5 million people watching, I just have to focus on winning. But it's great that we've got Cardiff as an option. I don't know how many times we can do it, but my focus is winning, you know. I'm going to talk about all the positive stuff for people watching, but I will always have to keep my mind on just focusing on winning.
Anthony, tonight you set a new world record for an indoor fight in terms of the crowd size. Can you sort of explain how you feel about the phenomenon that's building around you? And can you even begin to imagine what these nights will be like if you're challenging for the 3rd and 4th world titles?
Okay. I think UK boxing is close-knit. So like, you've got Finchley Boxing Club, GB Boxing, where all the boxers who represent the country, when they're done on the weekdays, go back to their local clubs on the weekend. I still go back to my local club, so it's grassroots. That even though we're champions and we're at different levels, but we're all fighting at elite level, we still go back to grassroots. So it's bringing so many people together. So it's nice that like so many eyes are on boxing, but there's no pressure, because I always understood that boxing is not a sport where, like football, if I joined a football team, they've been there since the 1950s and you're joining a legacy. So we all worked on building and telling our story to the public, and most importantly, behind that is Rob and the team making sure I'm focused on training, because without winning, I just think no one would want to listen. So Rob's developed me, still developing me. And even though it's great, I just know that everyone loves a winner, so I can't afford to mess up in the long run.
How excited are you about 2018 and the potential for more history?
You know life, you never know tomorrow. I'm not worried about 2018. It is great for the potential possibilities that's going to come, but we've got to get there first. Do you know where I'm coming from? We're still in 2017. And you just never know what's around the corner. So I just take day by day. But the possibilities of 2018 are great. They're great. But, you know, I'm just going to take it day by day, just look after myself. Because you just never know the landscape and what's going to happen in boxing or in people's lifestyles. You just never know. So as I said, enjoy this moment, focus on what I've got coming on, and the possibilities of 2018 are bubbling quietly in the distance.
What do you make of this phenomenon around you? And
it's not just me. Everyone's pulling weight. Everyone is, look at you guys here. Everyone's pulling weight to make it what it is. And as I said, boxing will live on after me. If it weren't for the other champions, you know, I wouldn't be here. People wouldn't be watching. So we're all pulling weight. Heavyweight boxing is madness. It's different. It's different. You know, look at the guy's face after. You know, heavyweight boxing is crazy. You've got to be tough. People want to see him unconscious. You know, it's just a different kettle of fish. I think that's what drives people to come and watch. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like a gladiatorial arena.
Is there one thing or one target that's still out there that's motivating you?
The discipline. The discipline, I think. And I think it's all I do, it's all I know. Yeah, it's the discipline. I need the discipline. I'll be reckless without boxing. I'll be beating people up in there, fighting, drinking in the crowd. My cousin probably fighting in my position. I'll be, yeah, I need the boxing. And it's helping me mature. And as I get older, I would have found my balance through boxing. So yeah, I'm good.
Eddie, I know if there's a nose injury, it might disrupt things, but can you tell us a little bit about what's there?
Yeah, I'd like to try and box 3 times in 2018, but again, we'll see what Anthony wants to do. Generally, boxing in October will allow you to get one in sort of March, April time, and then look at the summer as well. But it's not, we don't have to box 3 times next year. It's all down to what Anthony wants to do. We may have a mandatory with the WBA. That's a bit unclear at the moment. There's the Joseph Parker fight. There's the Deontay Wilder fight. You know, he has only had 20 fights. We was in the Dillon press conference, weren't we? You know, he was saying he's only had 22 fights, but he's only had 20 fights, and he seems to be Carlos Takam is a very, very tough fight for someone who's had 20 fights. And he came very close to beating Joseph Parker in New Zealand, and I think he won 1 round tonight on the cards.
Who?
But Takam. Yeah, sorry.
Did he?
I didn't think so, but that's what they said. But, it's a long way to go. And Rob knows that, the development of his fighter, because he knows that AJ's not the finished article, but that's what I was talking about earlier with the pressure. He's been thrown in these fights and thrown in these, like he said, these gladiatorial coliseums with 80,000 people. And he says, no pressure. Maybe there is no pressure, but if that's the case, then he's not human, because maybe he doesn't see the pressure. But I believe it's there, because it can't not be.
Yeah.
Every paper, every TV show, every sports channel, every newspaper, it's relentless. And he can't, he can hardly leave his house without getting mobbed. But what a great position, what a great opportunity he's got to create a legacy for himself and in the sport. But again, I believe that the pressure is huge, and we do look at international fights as well. And I would like him to have an international fight in 2018. He'd fight anywhere, but it does seem a shame to leave all this behind. That's the problem, because it's incredible.
Yeah, boxing, British boxing, heavyweight boxing, it was hard to get that respect, wasn't it? Like British fighters to get that respect. It was always like at USA heavyweight division. Now a lot of fighters are willing to come here and fight and stuff, so it's nice. I do like that. What do you think about going abroad?
If it's right.
Yeah.
That's it. But Takam wasn't ideal, obviously, in 12 days' notice. Like, we're very professional, and that's not ideal to fight someone on 12 days' notice. That's the long and the short of it. Obviously, it was tricky at times because Takam's awkward, squat, short, dynamic at times. But Anthony got the job done, and he's a winner, and he found a way to win each round, I thought, and close the show in spite of a bad head collision at the start. So he'll learn from this. He'll move on, go stronger, get a bit smarter, and at the end of the journey, hopefully he'll be the full package. And he's the #1 heavyweight in the world, in my eyes and most people's eyes, and he'll just cement that hopefully over the next year or two, and possibly abroad, in the States, in a big fight at some point.
AJ, now Mayweather's retired, do you feel like you're the face of boxing?
No. Nah.
Not with that hooter.
give me a week. I'll be back. Nah. I don't know. You got. No, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't look at it like that. Nah. I like Canelo. Canelo's big time. He's big in the game.
Eddie, I know you always say it's not always about the money, but where do you make the most money, here or in America?
At the moment here, but if you get it right, then in America. But again, of course the money's always important to every athlete, to every team, but it's also about growing the brand internationally, and he has a very long-term strategy with his team, and he's made every decision he's made so far in his career has been correct. Again, tonight was something totally different. Each one of the 19 fights, we knew exactly who we were fighting, we knew the date never changed, the venue never changed, the opponent never changed, and all of a sudden, bang, 12 days out, you get a phone call and it's all flipped on its head. And I don't think he understands either how difficult that was to deal with, not just in the style of the fight, but in the process of the change. Because you can't just say, okay, cool, yeah, all right, Takam instead. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you have.
You've been. He doesn't realise he's been programmed by Rob for 9 weeks for Kubrat Pulev. Now all of a sudden he's fighting a completely different style that is never going to suit him. That kind of style in Carlos Takam, and he dealt with him, won every round, on virtually every round, and got the win. So it's about sitting down collectively, looking at of course the financial decisions as well, but really what AJ wants to do, and he's capable and has the opportunity to box in any territory he wants. But I think right now it's about mapping out the year rather than just the next one. I think we need a clear plan to move forward and getting it right. But I don't think AJ's. Every show is iconic. Every show are images and footage that go back to people around the world, and we should be very proud of what they're watching, because I don't think it's really been done before. And to go to another country and maybe into a 3,000 or 4,000 arena just for a little bit more money, you know, AJ has always wanted to put on shows in and out of the ring, and every show there isn't a show like an Anthony Joshua show. There just isn't in world boxing anymore. So we don't really want to walk away from that necessarily.